Un, deux, trois.
Hello, people of New Halge, or Old Halge. I'm still not really sure, even after the interview with Smoggy. So, we're here today with Panda, governor of, she'll tell us the name. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. And you?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good. A lot of progress on my town. And speaking of towns and progress, you guys, I've seen y'all bustling, right?
Yeah, we have been making some extended progress in the couple of days. We've recruited 10 citizens over the past week, and we have erected two new buildings.
It's really good.
Progress is booming in areas.
So, what is your particular recruitment strategy to get all these people? I can't believe. I'm sure there's plenty of towns, especially mine, who would love to be able to, recruit 10 people in a few days.
So, our main strategy is to use a lot of exclamation marks and spam. If they see three messages from the same person, they're much more likely to pick that person than someone who sends only one message.
So you're saying you guys are? So I take it you're an extremely uh excitable person. I'm guessing.
I'm in constant euphoria when I am building this town.
So what is So I'm curious as to like, are these recruits sticking around, or are they just, here and there, and then most of them leave?
So that often depends on the person. Some people are
Hmm.
much more dedicated to stoneworks than others.
Yeah, I
But
can
in
quite
general,
agree.
if you try to rope in the recruits with your projects, they tend to stay more. But we've had several good recruits. We had some that were less successful. But in general, a lot of them tend to actually stick around for a while. So that's pretty cool.
So with these recruits, are you putting them to work immediately on all these projects that we can see around here? Or are they, going and building their own homes and doing stuff on their own fruition?
So we tend to encourage them to go strip mining or do a simple task first, as to like get them like selves geared up. And then we start to introduce them to the culture a bit, like our local cults, our local religions, and we try to rope them into that, and then we start to put them into good use doing our build projects.
So I would take it that what's your duchy called exactly? Let me sorry for asking, but I didn't do my background research. You kind of dropped this on me.
Um, I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
What exactly is the name of your duchy, and then I'll get into the next question using that.
Um, Patent pending.
Patent pending. Okay,
Arikas,
that's why I
we've
didn't
already
know it.
decided Arikas, Arius, like it has been very unsure on what we're actually gonna name this thing.
Hmm. May I suggest the Duchy of Rovadoria? Uh,
No, decline.
um, so I'm taking it that you're like a heavily RP based culture. You mentioned religions and cults and cultural
Oh yeah,
things that
we
indicate a
believe
very
that.
strong culture.
Oh yeah, we believe that activity is almost solely like dependent on how attached you feel to the people around you. If you want to log on and grind, that's only going to attract a small amount of percentage of people. But if you decide, hey, everybody, like this is your friend Panda, let I want you to hop on and grind, they're going to be so much more willing and way more active.
That's very interesting. So, uh,
One
can you
sec.
tell us? Can you tell us about your building style? I know you told me a very, very specific building style, so I'm curious as to why you chose that one and what its I don't know any other word besides virtues are. What are the virtues of using this
Um,
particular
so we're
building
going
style?
1700s Polish, which is kind of baroque and very detailed. And I chose this style because I really like the buildings and they're very pretty. And I feel most motivated when I'm able to build things that I actually have a large interest in.
Yes, we have our drone team taking a look at those buildings. I'm curious about so what are the virtues of it? Is it just allow a lot of people to live in it because the buildings are a lot larger, or is it
Oh,
another business? Is it sentimental or special to you?
oh yeah, I forgot about that too. We started to mix in some industrial because that allows us to stack a bunch of people on top of each other, which really solves the housing crisis because there's rarely a time when our nation has a place that a new citizen couldn't get a home.
Very cool, very cool. So, with this, is it just you, or or just you designing, or do you have several people designing this? This is a good time to give a
So,
shout out if you wanted to, you know.
so for the moment, I'm the only one designing this, but I have a bunch of friends who really are also interested in this stuff. Their summer just has not started yet. But I am
Hmm.
sure as soon as the summer starts, a lot of my friends are going to be way more involved. Also, kudos to MechTech34, because MechTech has been helping us a lot when it comes to grinding resources and getting wood.
I know MechTech. I'm not sure where I know him from. So when it comes down to it, what are your particular goals that are recent, medium term, and then long term
So
for
our
your duchy
short-term
and town?
so our short-term goals are to kind of get the general area around our spawn built up so we can actually start hosting events here. And I'd say our middle term goals are to finish this district, and our long-term goals, I guess, are to resolve the Opkali strip crisis because they're kind of a pain in the neck. And ideally, we'd like to get the cooperation of another duchies, and we should build up the infrastructure in the region.
Help us out. Um, sorry, I just wanted to insert that in there. So with it, let's talk here about what is the Kali strip crisis, because I'm sure there's plenty of people who really want to know about that.
Oh, the Opkali strip crisis is basically there's the Karteki squatters who are on our land, and they are causing a lot of claiming issues in our duchy, which is why, actually, if you'll point over here, that you'll notice that this is actually only partially finished, as we cannot expand further out here as this is unclaimed. However, if we resolve that crisis, we can finally finish the town spawn.
Oh, that would be very nice for you. So, what are the if you can say, and it's classified information, what are the ways in which you're going to try and get these people out?
Um, we don't need them necessarily out per se. We just need some very nice open borders with them to allow us to actually claim the rest of our land. And otherwise, we don't really need to do much else.
So, are you working with any foreign nations, or is this just strictly a domestic issue?
This is a personal project of mine. I haven't gotten done anything official yet, but this is one of my aspirations for the future.
Hmm. So, with your particular thing, I know your particular claim. I understand that your town, your goals for your town is huge. I mean, it would be the size of most of our duchies. So, why do you think you're going to be able to accomplish this? And what is your reason for just building a mega city?
So I say go big or go home, because in the end, we really want to make a mark on Stoneworks. And what better way to make a mark than make something so large it's going to take them a week to clear all of it? I
So,
don't even think
oh,
it's like we want to permanently change the landscape. We're talking a giant castle, several manors, no, not millions. Well, at least 1,000 buildings in total, and it's going to go so much more than that.
so is your goal to expand through all of like the northern part of the greater Hymerian Plains, or is it?
Um, yes, we are planning on everything above the three middle claim line will be city.
Goodness gracious. I mean, coming from going from frankly just a mega city down into the Hymerians, whereas the Hymerians, we have both of us have rather more sparse claims, whereas you're just going for something, I mean, insane. I cannot imagine. There's going to be a
I mean,
lot. I mean, think about
to
that.
quote the Lorax, how bad can I possibly be?
That's funny.
I'm just doing what comes naturally.
uh Um, so I'm curious as to what your opinions are on the Hymerian succession crisis. I know you declared your independence from the original Duchy of Hymir, and you've been kind of staying idly neutral. But do you have any plans, goals, anything to go along with that?
So I think it is unfortunate that your Great Duchy is divided between two leaders. However, I think both have very equal claims to the region, and I find that it's unfortunate, but I wish to have friendly relations with both of you.
Mhm. Do you have any political aspirations outside of your duchy, or do you intend to just, keep to yourself?
We tend to keep ourselves to ourselves in the most part, but I think that activity is important in every government. So I will spontaneously start proposing bills randomly.
That's funny. Yeah. I get that. I mean, we're not in a state, to all the people at home, the nation is currently not in a state of government truly functionality, especially considering how low the population is. But don't worry, that's the point of these interviews. It's so that everybody can know the minds of the political leaders here, and so that everybody can understand the goals that every individual person has for their nation, has for our greater nation as a whole. So, thank you, and thank you for allowing me to make that announcement. Um, Currently, I know that there are only supposed to be three major cities, and then the rest are going to be more minor cities. So, do you have any plans for cooperations with Leoden and New Halge City? To, maybe some mergers, maybe some working together on certain projects, anything like that?
I mean, if they're willing to consider me a major city, I will be perfectly fine with that. However, I could suggest a subway system or some other aspect. However, I am unsure in what ways cooperation would take place,
Mm-hmm.
but I would definitely like an equal role for my city
Yeah.
in that type of stuff.
Well, I think that that's great, and I'm very glad to hear it. So, I think we're gonna call it there. We had a very nice interview, very prosperous, very successful. I think everybody's kind of cleared the air with that. Yeah, if you could say anything, you wanted to make an announcement, make some recommendations to some people about some things, go for it with your last little bit of time.
People of Hodge, we are near the brink of great growth and almost substantial change. All we need to do is lock in. We need to come together and make this nation great. It is only up to us and no one else.
Yes. Well, with that, I am the Minister of Propaganda signing off.